At the beginning of our story, we find ourselves at the entrance of the Silver Dragon dungeon. Dragon soldiers stand guard, doing their best stern and silent routine when suddenly a woman appears. They immediately straighten up and address her as Your Majesty. They know better than to mess around because this is Ross Weiss, the Silver Dragon Queen, ruler of all dragons, and possibly the only dragon who can pull off a crown without it looking cheesy. She orders the soldiers to leave, wanting a private chat. I need to speak with him alone, she says with the authority of someone who's definitely not asking for a latte. The soldiers, not wanting to end up as barbecued snacks, obey without question. Now in the depths of the dungeon, chained up like an extra in a medieval drama, is none other than Leon, legendary dragon slayer. Ross Weiss, ever the confident queen, steps forward, her heels clicking in a way that screams, I run this place. She greets him. So how's it feel being a prisoner of the very creatures you once hunted? Leon, all stoic and grumpy, tells her to just kill him already. You know, typical tough guy stuff. But the queen? Oh, she's not letting him off that easy. She mocks him with a smirk, lifting his chin. You want a quick death? Oh, darling, if only it were that simple. She then proceeds to scratch his cheek like a cat who's both affectionate and plotting something. A few more scars and you'd be perfect, she adds, because apparently dragons appreciate a man with battle wounds. Leon, now thoroughly irritated and probably regretting life choices, demands she stop toying with him. Kill me or chop me up already, just get on with it. But Ross Weiss? She's having too much fun. Ah, if only you hadn't been framed by a villain, she says, licking his blood, because why wouldn't she? You'd still be the handsome, mighty dragon slayer instead of this, well, this. She even offers him a job, suggesting he join the Silver Dragon clan, but Leon responds with the energy of a guy who's just been asked if he wants to work overtime. Are you even worthy? Cue the dramatic kick. The queen hits him hard enough to break his chains, and Leon spits out blood, probably thinking, should have seen that one coming. She steps on him, in case it wasn't clear who's in charge. Do you still think you're humanity's great hero? She taunts. Because honestly, you're starting to look more like the village idiot. Leon, being the stubborn human he is, fires back, warning her not to underestimate humans. But Ross Weiss? She's already got her tail wrapped around him, lifting him into the air like he's today's special. Leon struggles, because of course he does, and then in a moment of twisted dignity, he calls her Your Majesty. At this point, the queen's having a blast. Ready to beg for mercy, she asks. Leon, however, has a plot twist up his sleeve. He explains, you've made two mistakes. 1, never be alone with the most powerful dragon slayer. 2, never taste my blood. Boom. Leon activates a blood curse because, surprise, this guy's got spells. Ross Weiss stumbles back, feeling a sudden heat. Her breathing quickens, her face turns red, and she's thinking, what on earth is happening to me? Meanwhile, Leon's on the ground, coldly explaining that she's about to experience soul-destroying pain for the rest of her life. You know, just normal conversation. But instead of being tormented, Ross Weiss lunges at him and, wait for it, kisses him. Leon, flabbergasted, is like, this is not what I had in mind. Fast forward an hour, the floor is covered with discarded clothes. Ross Weiss wakes up, dazed, sees her situation, and furiously demands to know what just happened. Leon, with the calmness of someone who clearly doesn't understand the gravity of the situation, explains, oh, that was the blood curse. But don't worry, it only causes unbearable pain after I die. That was a side effect. The queen, red-faced and beyond angry, screams at him to shut up. But Leon, ever the nonchalant hero, adds, by the way, dragons follow monogamy, right? So congratulations, your love life is officially over. He even drops the bomb that after his death, she won't be able to find another mate or bear offspring. No successor for the dragon line, he says, like he's reading a bad fortune cookie. Ross Weiss tries to respond but can't. She's too mad, too embarrassed, and too caught up in the absolute mess that is now her life. Leon, feeling smug, throws her words back at her, reminding her how she said he'd have no successor. Now, neither will she. Furious, Ross Weiss charges at him, magic swirling in her hand. But Leon, still playing it cool, mocks her. Go ahead, kill me if you want. You'd only be doing me a favor. Ross Weiss hesitates, then withdraws her magic, because let's face it, he's not worth the paperwork. She dresses and with a final disdainful glance leaves him there. "You're just a human," she spits, "and yet you seek revenge in such a despicable way." She casts a spell on his chest, but we'll save the details for later. Leon Cosmode was once a legendary dragon-slaying hero. How legendary, you ask? Well, at just 5 years old, he slayed his neighbor's vicious dog with his bare hands. Okay, maybe that doesn't sound heroic, but hey, we all have to start somewhere, right? His talent for violence, heroism, caught the eye of a renowned dragon slayer who decided to take him on as an apprentice. By the age of 10, Leon had entered the prestigious Imperial Dragon Slayer Academy, and just 4 years later, he graduated as their youngest, most overachieving student ever. Seriously, valedictorian by 14. Nerd alert! At 15, Leon hit the dragon-slaying battlefield, wiping out countless dragons, reclaiming lost territory, and earning enough medals to make even the Emperor jealous. The Empire hailed him as their ultimate dragon-slaying hero, their one and only hope for victory. That is, until he made the not-so-great life choice of getting captured by the Dragon Clan. Oops. 2 years have passed since Leon was taken prisoner. After what felt like the world's longest nap, he suddenly wakes up gasping for air, clutching his chest like someone just hit him with a frying pan. Confused, he glances around the room, only to notice a little girl peeking at him from the doorway. She's staring at him like he's some rare animal in a zoo, curiosity all over her face. Leon's face turns bright red. Wait, why is she so cute? She asks if he's finally awake, as if it's no big deal to have a prisoner sleeping for 2 years. Leon, still holding his head like he's nursing a hangover, tries to make sense of things. Is this heaven? Surely, after everything he's done, he deserves some divine reward. He points at the little girl with a smirk. "You must be an angel." The little girl looks confused. "What's an angel?" Leon, still deep in his delusion, smiles warmly. "A little angel like you wouldn't understand." He asks for her name, and she sweetly responds, "Moon." "Moon? That's a beautiful name." Leon compliments her, all while internally freaking out. Why is this angel's hair all black and white? Did heaven run out of bleach? Moon, sensing his confusion, innocently explains that her mother said the name symbolizes the moon itself. Leon, now totally convinced that heaven has gone off the rails, wonders if angels have moms. He introduces himself confidently. "I'm Leon Cosmode." Moon's eyes light up. "Oh, I know. Leon means lion." Leon, caught off guard, asks, "Who told you that?" "Mom," Moon replies with a cheerful grin. Leon's mind races. Wait, who the heck is this mom? When Leon asks to know her mother's identity, Moon, without missing a beat, chirps, "Oh, my mom's Ross Weiss." It feels like the entire world just slapped Leon in the face. His smile falters. "Wait, what? Ross Weiss? Then I must be..." Moon, still beaming, completes the thought. "Yup, you're my dad." Leon is left speechless, his brain short-circuiting. "I'm a dad?" he mutters under his breath. "This kid is actually mine? And Ross Weiss?" Moon spots her mom coming and runs off. "Mom, Dad's awake!" Leon's eyes follow her, and there she is. Ross Weiss, the last person he ever expected to see again. Moon hugs Ross Weiss, and with a frosty stare, Ross Weiss remarks, "Yeah, I noticed." Moon adds, "Mom must be really happy to see Dad awake. She came to visit him every day." Ross Weiss coldly confirms this with a nod. Leon grits his teeth. "Yeah, sure, and ghosts love vacationing in haunted houses too." Ross Weiss tells Moon to go play outside while she has a chat with her father. Moon giggles and skips out, leaving Leon alone with his very angry, very dragon-like baby mama. Leon, still in disbelief, asks, "So she's really my daughter?" Ross Weiss rolls her eyes. "What else would she be? A pet hamster?" After confirming that Moon is indeed their biological daughter, Ross Weiss slams the door shut with her tail. Because why not? Leon, now very confused and very trapped, confronts her. "You hate me, so why would you give birth to our child? And why did you even save me?" Ross Weiss, with a face colder than ice, replies, "You've been asleep for 2 years. Do you really think I can just forget what you did?" Leon fires back. "You think I wanted this? We're different. We can't coexist. If it weren't for the circumstances, I'd have never even touched you." Ross Weiss raises an eyebrow. "Oh, so touching me was that torturous, huh?" "Of course it was." Leon snaps back, only for Ross Weiss to grab him by the leg with her tail and yank him onto the bed. She climbs on top of him slowly, and Leon, wide-eyed, blurts out, "What are you doing?" Ross Weiss rips his shirt off and starts casting a spell, muttering something about carving her own dragon pattern onto him. Leon's panicked, flailing, "Stop! What the heck is this?" The spell burns into his chest and Ross Weiss explains with a wicked grin, "It's your new shame. From now on, you're my prisoner. You'll never leave me again." As the mark appears on Leon's chest, the same pattern materializes on Ross Weiss's chest. She smirks. When your fellow humans see this dragon tattoo, they'll wonder if you're a hero or a traitor who surrendered to the dragons. Leon grits his teeth. Why go to such extremes? Ross Weiss silences him with a finger on his lips. You don't understand, do you? Dragons don't do simple revenge. Ours is a combination of paranoia and extremes, far beyond human understanding. Her voice softens to a dangerous whisper. You'll live with this shame for the rest of your life. Leon's face flushes as he processes the situation. His body heats up, whether from rage or embarrassment, he doesn't know. For Ross Weiss, this is the ultimate revenge, turning the greatest dragon slayer in history into the Dragon Clan's slave. Ross Weiss leans closer, her lips almost brushing his. Shall we begin? In the Silver Dragon Castle, one dragon remarked that the queen seemed to be in a good mood today. Another asked if the first didn't know that the queen's husband had woken up. Meanwhile, Leon, hiding behind a wall and overhearing the conversation, realized that Ross Weiss had publicly announced him as her husband. He shuddered at the thought. They had no idea just how terrifying the Dragon Queen could be. Last night, her dragon instincts had made things extremely difficult for him, leaving him utterly exhausted. He felt like she had drained every ounce of energy from his body, leaving his waist nearly broken. Furious, Leon clenched his fists and vowed he would never stay there and become her plaything. Assessing the situation, he noticed 4 dragons guarding the side door, making it impossible to escape through there. Something felt strange, too quiet. It was unusually calm in the Silver Dragon Castle today. While contemplating this odd atmosphere, he spotted something. A hole in the wall. Strange, he muttered. Why is there a hole here? Could this be a trap? Despite his suspicion, Leon resolved to escape no matter what, even if it meant forcing his way out. He squeezed through the hole, muttering a sarcastic farewell to the perverted mother dragon. While he acknowledged that their daughter Moon was adorable, she was still Ross Weiss's child for now. From a distance, Moon quietly observed him and informed her mother, Dad is digging a hole. It looks cool. Ross Weiss responded with a smile, Yes, he's quite impressive. Moon asked, When are you going to fish him back? Ross Weiss corrected her, Don't say fish him back, dear. It's rude. Say catch him back instead. After some effort, Leon managed to squeeze through the hole and ran into the forest as fast as his legs could carry him. He thought that if he could just climb over the mountains, he'd reach the borders of human territory. Maybe the dragon wouldn't be able to catch him if he got far enough away. But as he ran, the sound of rushing wind caught his attention. Looking up, he saw Ross Weiss in her full dragon form, soaring through the sky toward him. She's catching up already, he screamed in disbelief. Ross Weiss soon passed over him, landing gracefully in front of his path. Quite the runner, aren't you? She said with a grin. Leon skidded to a halt, panting, realizing he couldn't outrun her. Frustrated, he snapped, You find this fun, don't you? Fun, Ross Weiss mused. Maybe. Do you think escaping me is that easy? Who do you think left that hole in the wall for you? Who helped to divert the guards? Leon narrowed his eyes. Even if I knew it was a trap, I had to try. I just didn't expect you to catch up so fast. Ross Weiss's expression softened, though her tone remained sharp. What do you think will happen if you return to human territory with my mark on your chest? Do you think they'll still see you as a dragon slayer? I'd rather start over as an ordinary person, Leon replied defiantly. Anything is better than being tortured by you. Ross Weiss shook her head with amusement. You have no idea how to appreciate kindness. In an instant, her tail wrapped around him, and she hoisted him onto her head before taking to the skies. Leon protested, yelling, Where are you taking me? Let me go! Ross Weiss's response was casual. You wanted to go back, didn't you? Fine, I'll take you. 3 hours later, they neared the Empire's border. Ross Weiss released him midair, sending him crashing into a tree. Leon groaned, holding his head. Ouch, that hurt! Looking up, he saw the distant flicker of lightning over a small town. Is that a human town? he asked, bewildered. Ross Weiss, now in her human form, stood beside him. Yes, it's the human empire, she confirmed. But just because it's close doesn't mean you can step back into that world so easily. The dragon mark on her chest began to glow, and Leon's mark responded in kind, lighting up as well. Ross Weiss smirked as she explained, when one person with a dragon mark desires to be intimate with the other, the marks react. Leon was shocked. Wait, what, here now? Yes, Ross Weiss teased, and I think it would be a perfect place for you to experience shame right in front of your precious human territory. Leon, still holding his chest, retorted, if you think I'll lose my dignity over this, you're mistaken. He grabbed her hand, eyes burning with determination. I'll wait for my moment. When it comes, I'll repay all the humiliation you've inflicted twice over. Ross Weiss remained silent for a moment before closing her eyes and smiling. I look forward to it, Leon, whether you return alive or dead. Later, after a brief, intimate moment, Ross Weiss dressed herself, clearly pleased. Leon, however, was utterly drained. Placing a hand on him, Ross Weiss remarked, maybe I should bring you here every month to visit your hometown? Leon, irritated, grumbled, you're such a dreamer, draining me like this. Ross Weiss laughed. You figured me out. With that, she spread her wings. Time to head back. Moon is waiting for us. Leon, still weak, started walking away. Wait, I can walk by myself. I'm not some prey. Ross Weiss chuckled. It would take 3 hours to fly back to the castle, and at least 10 days for a human to walk that far. It might take 10 days or even half a month, but don't underestimate human endurance, Leon muttered, determined. Despite his words, after a while, Leon could barely move. Ross Weiss, still flying nearby, asked, You can't walk anymore, can you? Just ask for help, and I'll take you back. Leon, though completely exhausted, stubbornly denied being tired. Who said I was tired? The only thing tough about you is your mouth, Ross Weiss teased. As they walked, Leon noticed a group approaching, dragon slayers. He thought for a moment that they might help him, but one glance at Ross Weiss's darkening expression made him realize the danger. If he called for help, she would kill them without a second thought. The head of the dragon slayers, a man named Walker, stopped and asked if they were lost. Scratching his head, Leon replied, No, just hanging out. Walker dismounted, introducing himself as the captain of the Imperial Dragon Squadron. This forest is a dangerous place for a casual hangout. Why don't you join us? Leon thanked him but declined, saying, We know a bit of self-defense. Walker studied Leon's face for a moment. You look familiar. Have we met? Leon, feeling Ross Weiss's gaze burn into his back, acted quickly. He grabbed her hand, pulling her close with a smile. I've got one of those faces, he said. Even my wife misrecognizes me sometimes. Right, darling? Ross Weiss, playing along, smiled sweetly. Walker laughed, waving them off. I see. Well, I won't disturb you two. Take care. After they left, Ross Weiss dropped her facade and asked, Have you hugged me enough now? Leon stepped back, frustrated. I never wanted to be your husband. We'll see, Ross Weiss replied, turning away. There's still a long way to go. As Leon continued walking, his hand throbbed with pain. He looked down, noticing his palm was wounded, and soon exhaustion overtook him. His vision blurred, and before he could react, he collapsed to the ground. Hearing the sound, Ross Weiss turned around, observing Leon's fainted form. Humans are so fragile, she remarked, shaking her head. Unfazed, Ross Weiss released her power, transforming back into her dragon form. She gently picked up Leon with her mouth, tossing him into the air before catching him on her back. Without wasting any time, she began flying back toward the Silver Dragon Castle. As they soared through the air, Ross Weiss thought to herself, This whole ordeal is just his way of begging for mercy.